Viewers, let's watch this video.
Even the thought of wearing sweatpants in public to him was like, whoa.
This guy sounds like a catch. What's going on? He dresses nice.
Like textbook, he sounds like a really cool.
No, you don't. You didn't like him. Why is that? Why do you say he was awful?
He was just very possessive and very yes,
You are joking.
traditional views, but it was very like, no, you are mine. Like
How
it
was,
was just
when you
That's
say
he was like
true.
gross.
He didn't like that I liked to party.
so when you say possessive, is that what you mean? He wanted to spend, like when you wanted to go out on a Friday, he would rather you stay in with him.
Yeah, he was always like, oh, I'm not going to stop you from going out, but I would prefer if you didn't.
Okay.
So
That you're making him sound so much nicer than he actually
Okay.
was.
Well, here, why don't you tell us
Okay.
the extent of it? Go ahead.
Okay, I feel like he wasn't, okay, how do I word this? Just a lot of the comments that he made were very misogynistic and very not okay. I think the time.
How? Give me some
Okay,
examples. Give me some examples
am I
here.
allowed to?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
allowed. You're
just
allowed.
like, oh, I don't want anybody else to see your body. Like, just
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
just that. But it's,
Anything
I
else?
understand that. Like, obviously, if you're in a relationship, I get that. But just the way that it was said, I feel like is,
yeah.
How did he
I
say
agree.
it?
Even when he would describe, I think that's another thing.
This guy watches the podcast.
He would describe people who I would put myself in the same category as, like girls who party or wear like revealing clothes kind of to party, or even just like crop tops. And he would word it in a way that's like, oh, well, I don't like when people dress like a slut. But it's like, I've worn more revealing things than that girl, you know? So
he didn't want you going out partying. He wanted you to dress modestly.
yeah.
And you mentioned he was being misogynistic. Were there any other things that you considered misogynistic?
Trying to think.
I can't think of any specific examples.
Just so I make sure we're talking about the same thing,
Yeah.
just how do you define misogyny?
Well, he for sure thinks that men are better than women.
But when you say he for sure thinks that,
Yes.
did he say that?
Not directly.
So indirectly, how did he communicate that?
Just in like I think especially when talking to her, she was like,
Yeah.
it's more like he didn't want her to have a career. He didn't want her to.
No,
Like-
he definitely, even talking about the future, he was very fast with like talking about the future and, oh, would you want children? Would you whatever? And even talking about working, he was like, well, would you want to still work if you had children? Because I personally would want you to stay at home. And
Okay.
This guy's my hero. Like, I mean, everything that he's saying sounds awesome. I don't actually understand what the problem is. Like, he sounds great.
yeah, I think
I think when you put it down, when you write it down and you say it out loud, it sounds, yes, traditional, but I do think it is the way that people say it and the intentions behind it.
Okay.
But,
And so, wait,
First of all, you are not supposed to be living with a guy you're not married to. But society has decayed to such an extent that people don't even see anything wrong in premarital sex anymore, or unmarried couples living together. Now, let's assume, okay, you're in a relationship with this guy. I believe he's responsible for your feeding, your shelter, clothing, just put simply the bills in the house. And in return, you have to abide by his rules as long as it does not appear controlling. Now, putting on inappropriate dresses or revealing dresses only means that you are saying to other guys that you are readily available. It's like you're putting a for sale on your neck. You see, the problem with many of these ladies is that they want to be in a relationship, but still want to live this free life. You can't eat your cake and at the same time have it.
okay, so really quick though, going back to what you said, I know you said he's a misogynist. Just, I don't know if you provide an answer on this. Just how do you define misogyny, just so I know we're talking about the same thing?
I think it's just in my.
I think that was a question for her.
Okay. Okay, now I'm being put on the spot. Well, I feel like if there's a power balance that you believe is correct between men and women, I think that's the biggest.
Wait, can you clarify what you mean there? A power balance or imbalance?
Power imbalance.
if you believe that there
That is
should.
correct. if
you
if
believe
you're
that-
okay with that, and if you're
Okay. So you don't believe in any sort of gender expectations at all when it comes to dating,
I think that there are some expectations, but
but you reject them.
mm,
Or do you? No, go ahead. Actually, go ahead.
no. No, there are definitely expectations. I mean, but I don't think it's gender specific. Just to be respectful as a person.
Yeah, sure.
And
Did we get a definition though on the misogyny thing? Because people have different definitions for that, so I just want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing.
well,
I feel like it's hard to
it,
define.
it's hard to specifically
explicitly.
define because I feel like there are a lot of examples. So just because I feel like you don't have to be a misogynist by just like, oh, I hate women. Like, it's not
Mhm.
that. There are also a lot of small.
Like a microaggression.
Oh, I wouldn't call it microaggression,
Okay.
but slightly, yeah.
So what are
I
some?
don't really understand though. How are you guys calling people misogynists but can't tell us what that is?
I think the answer to that is these ladies, most of the time, they use words they don't even know the meaning in the first place. There are quite a lot of videos on the social media in which girls say guys are misogynists. They are this, they are that, blah, blah, blah. And they were asked what the word means, and they cannot even give answers to it. Now, these ladies sound like feminists who believe they can be equal in all ramifications with a man in a relationship. They want a man to open the car door for them. They want the man to pay the bills when they go on a date. They want the man to protect them when they are being harassed by other men. But they don't want to fulfill their own part of the relationship by being feminine, submissive, and try to abide by whatever the guy says in the relationship, as long as he is not controlling.